Sure, Catherine. Thank you.
Good, it's recording now. All right, well, why don't we get started? Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the celebration of the International Day of Play, hosted by TECEC. My name's Catherine Noon, and I'll be the moderator throughout the next hour of presentations and discussions. My personal career has been focused on maternal and child health. I am located in the US, but have spent significant time in Tanzania and am honored to be a new volunteer with TECEC as well. I'm thrilled to be joining this event, and since we have so many guests joining, we would love it if everyone could introduce themselves in the chat by writing your name, organization, and your favorite way to play. To start, I am going to pass it over to Jason Booten, who is the Board Advisory Chairman and Ambassador for TECEC, and also Joel Elfus, who is TECEC's Executive Director.
Thank you, Catherine. My name's Jason. I'm based in England, right in the middle of England, and it's pretty grey here, I'm afraid. But welcome. Really, really sort of brilliant to have so many people from all around the world, so here, and I won't take up too much time because we've got sort of some amazing storytelling sessions. So what that will comprise is that we have some speakers that are going to have the huge challenge of having only 7 minutes to be able to show and tell really their experiences and their joyful experiences of learning. And we will have a chance to be able to ask questions in the chat and to be able to discuss sort of afterwards. But please do sort of engage, and anything that comes to mind. I think that part of being playful for me is that you have first thoughts, you have first ways, and if you have a first thought and a first way of doing something, by watching someone else or listening to someone else's like spark enthusiasm, can change the way you think. Can give you your next thought. So all ideas welcome, all voices welcome, in a playful manner. What I'm going to do as a show and tell is, so I said, my name's Jason Booten. I am really privileged to be the advisory board chairman ambassador for TECEC, and I have not been to Tanzania yet, so my playfulness has all been online. But I have a huge affinity for the work that the organisation does. It's great people in a great place. So I've been in primary school education in kind of almost all guises for 30 years. Met my wife on teacher training, so yeah, we met sort of together, and I thought, what's my challenge to be sort of playful? Oh, what I would first of all say is that I've taught all year groups, but when I'm teaching in nursery, which in England is like 3 and 4 year olds, there is no getting away from playing, because you just have to go with the flow. You have to go. But I must say that I was on a child's trike, sort of on one leg a couple of weeks ago, going rather fast, hit a stone, and flew through the air. But after the grazes and stuff, I didn't cry. So I got up and it was okay. But I'm not sure what that really says about me. But one of the things that I'm really lucky is that I work in Tonga. So I'm off to Tonga in the Pacific, South Pacific, on Thursday. And one of the things that TECEC I'm really impressed by is the resourcefulness, is actually sort of using local resources, things that might be thrown away, things that might end up as sort of rubbish. And in America, there's this wonderful phrase called trash to treasure. Turning something that might go into rubbish into something that is actually of value or wanted or artistic. So I had a go out of this. Okay, so, and I primed all this. So this here, so showing people here, you know, you sort of is a milk carton. Now, where I live, that's a Welsh dragon. Okay, so this is Welsh milk. My wife is Welsh, so I don't know if that's why we've got Welsh milk, but she's Welsh. So this here is a carton of milk. Now, obviously we're going to use the milk, but if you have a look here about trying to turn this trash into treasure, I was going to do it live and I thought it'd take too long, I'd probably make a mistake, but I'm quite proud because half an hour ago, I created this elephant. Hopefully you'll see it's an elephant. And if I sort of show you, and I'm most proud of the fact that I didn't use any glue, I didn't use anything, and I even made the eyes using the label. I've never done that before. So so I thought I would just show that this is here we go. It's just being playful, but I don't know. It was yeah. Anyway, that's my show and tell. You know, that's my sort of repurposing to be purposeful, I suppose. So let's enjoy listening to people's experiences, and I think people's interpretation. You know, I'm going to be really honest and perhaps provocative, you know, and say that in England, if you have only ever taught in juniors, let's say 10, 11-year-olds, the word play is sometimes interpreted in kind of a skewed way. You know, it's like, oh, you know, they only play with you. Where's the learning? It's all, but you know, I think that's what this discussion is going to open up, is actually what does play mean to us? What is our concept of play? What is playful learning? What does it look like in your experience? So I'm going to end there, and let's hand back over to Catherine, and let's listen to the really interesting stories. Thank you.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to pass it over to Joel if you want to start by introducing.
Thanks so much, Catherine, and thank you, Johnson. Just a quick introduction. My name is Joel Alphas, and I'm working with Tanzania Early Childhood Education and Care as Executive Director. And today we are real honored, all of us, to celebrate the launch of International Day of Play. Young children is the funniest way for nurture young children. As a parent, as a caregiver, and as a people who are closer to young children, it is all our responsibility to make sure we give our space, we give our voice, we give our chance to all young children to have opportunity to play, because that's the way young children grow. That's the way young children get to learn specific in the low-income families, because we know it has really been a challenge, specifically. Just imagine, in Tanzania, 53% of young children from low-income families are experiencing developmental delays in health, early learning, but also psychosocial well-being. And those three areas as areas that can be nurtured through play. So that's why we are joining the world celebrates the launch by the General UN Assembly that just launched the International Day of Play, that all of us, we should just take a part of it to celebrate, but not only to celebrate, but also making sure we provide that opportunity and space for young children to play at school, but also at home. And as a part of the celebration, I would like for all of us, we can just take around 1 minute to think and listen to his voice from this video. How's just playing to them? What does play mean for them? And they can share, if they can share this video. Can everybody
Play
see?
isn't just about having fun. It's really important.
Sorry, can everybody hear the voice in the video?
Okay, you concentrate.
Yes, we can hear it.
Play helps us be our best. It helps us to stay healthy inside and out. Play isn't just about having fun, it's an important part of our lives. Play helps us be our best. It helps us to stay healthy and feel good inside and out. It helps us to learn stuff and get creative. It helps us to fix problems and feel brave. It helps us to make friends and laugh and be happy. Adults have forgotten how important play is. Everything else seems more important to them. We want adults that play connects us all. It brings us together and helps us understand each other better. It makes us stronger, teaches us how to be a team, and helps us discover our hidden talents. It makes difficult things feel easier, but not all of us have the same time or space to play. Some of us cannot play because the roads are too busy and our parents think that's too dangerous to play outside. Some of us can't play because there isn't enough time. We have to do too many chores, homework, or have to do extra jobs to help our family. And others can't play because of wars or because climate change is destroying our world, our homes, and our favorite playgrounds. We are asking all adults to remember that play is important so we can all play more, because we need play now more than ever.
Thank you, Catherine. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Jason and Joel, for your introductions. I could definitely listen to those sweet voices for much longer, and always nice to reiterate why we are doing this and hear it directly from them. But we'll now transition to our storytelling session, which will give several organizations and individuals an opportunity to share their work and stories. So our hope is that they will each emphasize how play is uplifting children to reach their potential and focus on the impactful work being done to support children's play at home and in schools. If you have any questions during their presentations, please either put them in the chat or wait until all groups have presented, as we have allocated time for further networking and questions. I will also apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name, but I promise I will do my best. But we are going to start, and I'm going to turn it over to the founder and consultant of Be Inspired and Min Move, Tanya Swift.
Thanks, Catherine. Hi, everybody. So nice to see so many people. Yes, just for those of you who don't know me, I have worked as a specialist in early years physical development and play-based learning and development for a long time now. And I've worked with many teachers, parents, carers, and other people who work in early years and special educational needs, looking at how to develop their practice around play and physical development. I was part of the team that wrote the Cambridge Early Years curriculum, specifically the play-based approach aspect of it, and also physical development. So this is something I'm very something that's very special to me. I have started working with TECEC. I think it was last September that you contacted me, and then we started doing some short sessions. And the idea was to look at what they already knew and did, which was a lot. But the idea was for me to share some of my experience, knowledge, and ideas, because I've worked and researched many play-based practices around the world for my book that I wrote, and then also for Cambridge and other consultancy that I've done. So I've done a lot of research about what's going on in lots of different countries and the leaders in play and what have you. And yes, so I've been involved with TECEC since last September-ish, and it's been an incredibly wonderful experience for me. I hope for them as well. I Oh, just so you know, I am based in the UK in Bath, but I'm originally from Zimbabwe, so not too far from Tanzania. And my heart always sort of stays in Africa, so it's just wonderful to work with people in Africa. Yeah, that's a personal thing that's wonderful for me. So yeah, so we've spent time looking at their practice around play and ways to develop everyone's knowledge, and looking at things, for example, you know, you're not having to spend a fortune on resources, going back to what was said earlier on. And I think the next step is to start looking at encouraging parents to get more involved with play with their children once the center is up, has been built, the parent center. Is that right, Elizabeth? Yeah, so it's just been, I guess they could tell you more about the work we've done together, but I just wanted to say that actually working with Tanzania has been extremely rewarding for me, because everybody there cares, everyone at TECEC cares so much about making a difference. And I feel just my tiny little input, and any tiny little things that I share with them actually will have such a big meaning, because they take whatever they've got and whatever they can get, and they create something so wonderful and big. So yes, it's been an absolute pleasure working with TECEC, and yeah, I look forward to all the amazing things we're going to do together, or things that you will be doing without me to come. So it's not really a story, but it's just, I just wanted to talk about my experience of being involved with TECEC. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for that. And it's been wonderful, and it's impressive to see what a global session we have just today. So it just commends the further work that's going to be done with the organization of TECEC and the varying organizations that are joining us today. So applause to each one of you as well. But in the spirit of TECEC, we are going to turn it over to Elizabeth Joseph, who is our Director of Programs and Operation.
Thank you so much. I would like to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, looks great.
Thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth Joseph Kaduma, and I work for TECEC program. My slide today will base on stories that I've collected in our programs and how play has impacted many of our programs, and how we vest our efforts to help children to play more in school and at home. So let's start off by celebrating play as an integral part for early childhood development, and the reason why we're here on the road to 11th June, International Day of Play. Going forward, TECEC is at the heart of, play is at the heart of many TECEC programs because of the many benefits that it offers to children, starting from brain development, physical health, language development, and through play, children learn social skills, sharing, discipline, emotions, interactions, and relationship building. So how play is key to our intervention. So here is a small story in our early learning and play-based program. We support public schools with play programs so that they can enhance children's physical and mental health in order to help them in learning. And we support also parents to give children to play at home. And we do this through our campaign of 30 minutes playing and learning with a child. So the picture here is a story of the children from one of our partner schools. It's called Swear Primary Schools. We were spending time with children playing outdoor because of the many benefits that outdoor play offers attached to their environment, but also they learn different skills when they're interacting with each other, but also when they're interacting with their teachers and with other, with their peers as well. So here are a few of the pictures from our program in Swear Primary School. So here children are playing on the sand. So we, as we mentioned, we are using the very available resources that we have that people can consider rubbish to make sure that children get to play more outdoor to enhance their fine motor skills, but they're also gross motor skills. So here children are using their hands to collect sand and put it in the bottle. They're learning a lot of things while doing this sort of game. First, they learn how to hand-eye coordination, but they also learn the element of the earth. They learn to sense the sand, the material, the texture of the sand, but they also learn on measurements. So they're learning a lot of things through this simple game. But there's some children also running with tires, so this movement helps them to keep them fit. But we also have some other few pictures. Since today I will only my slide will be only sharing stories and how play has impacted children. So on the first picture that you're seeing, children are making their own ball so that they can play football. So right there, they're using simple papers and plastics that we collected together, making sure we preserve our environment, but through what we are getting from collection of these rubbish, we are getting ball to play football together. So here is when they already made their ball and they're starting playing football with one of our volunteers. You can see on the third picture, children. So it's a game, throws rocks, and when she knocks it off, she wins. So it's a simple game which really boosts the hand-eye coordination of children. So play has also been impactful in our parenting education, where we encourage more parents to spend time and play with their children. First, we encourage adults to also play because it's good for their health, but also it's good not only for their physical health, but also for their mental health, to relax with the children, but to bond with the children. And we do this also through our campaign of 30 minutes of playing and learning with the child. Essential in parenting education to encourage play, especially in Tanzania. It's because it's not a norm for most of adults to play with children. They tend to leave children to play alone outside with very minimal guidance. So we encourage them to play more so that they can build the connection between a parent and child, which is very essential in early childhood development and the overall psychosocial well-being of a child. So the story behind the picture, this was one of our home visits. We visited one of the beneficiary parents, and together from the education she got of making early learning play material for our children, she was able to make them herself and play with with our children at home. So when we visited her, she already had the materials from our workshop, and she took what she learned and made the most of it. She collected some of things that she's not using, some of the boxes she's not using, and made this playful learning material with her children. Yeah, but also here the picture behind the story behind the picture. This was our community outreach. We were teaching parents on how to develop early learning materials. We also encourage play to support the psychosocial well-being of children, where we train teachers and parents and caregivers to use play as a strategy to interact positively with children. So I'll go fast on the last two slides. What's the elephant in the room? Because the aim of being here today is also to help children play more. So the elephant in the room in many public schools is business as usual, since they don't understand how play-based approach can help in many academic concepts. But also parents and caregivers have misconception of play, that it takes time away from true learning to take place. But also the policymakers didn't get the memo on how crucial play is for early child development, hence the very low enforcement of play in. So how can we all help? Welcome policymakers at the table for discussion, training teachers on how they can use play-based approach to support children in learning, but also joint efforts to raise awareness of the importance of play for early child development. Learn from one another as we are here today on how we can help children play and more despite of the existing barriers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was a fabulous presentation and was very comprehensive into the work that you're doing in ways that people can start practicing these behaviors. And I liked your slide about the elephant in the room. I'm now gonna switch and we're gonna pass it over to our project leader of Child and Nature, IVN Nature Education, which is Ian Moster.
Good afternoon. Really nice to see you again, Joelle, Elizabeth. I hope it will work. I would like to share some stories about our approach in the Netherlands, Rotterdam. About 20 years ago, I worked in the healthcare and I saw many families struggling and small houses, big families, and no space outside. And we were talking and the problems didn't solve and became bigger. And many times I went outside with the children and we were playing, we played in nature, we played football, we went fishing. And I saw the children became happy and relaxed. And on the other hand, we saw a city, 93% of the Netherlands is urban. And it becomes more urban and urban, so there's not much space for children. And we start with a discussion with the adults, with the parents, with the teachers, with the government. And what we see, they are afraid for a lot of things, but we let them dream about their own youth. And then we hear a lot of beautiful stories about what they were doing. Many times they are playing in nature. They are doing sometimes forbidden things. Sometimes they are doing risky or dangerous play, and they love it. They are dreaming about a beautiful time. And we use it as a starting point. How can we develop a space for children who are growing up right now? And when we are looking around in the city, this is what we see. Public squares, schoolyards. It's all a stony desert with iron around it. And they are screaming, go away. And don't make a mess of it. But there's a big opportunity for families and children. So 10 years ago, we developed an approach on school grounds. And we invest in the school grounds so children can use the school ground in the school hours as a learning landscape, but we also open the gates for the community, and we can use it after school as green playgrounds. In the beginning, it was not a success. Schools were really afraid opening the gates for the community, but we also see the numbers, and they are increasing. Now you can read it. There are many children who don't play, and it becomes more and more. And also the chronic disease or the what do you say, motor skills, we can see in a short time it's increasing a lot. Also the children who are watching screens, even babies are looking 2 hours a day a screen, so it's really unhealthy. So we are looking at school grounds as a leverage for the neighborhood, and we can use it by designing it with the community and use it with them. But before we start, we have some conditions. We have a lot of money for one school, but we have some conditions they have to participate in. So you can read them here. And for us, it's really important to invest public money in space that will become for the public. And it's really important to involve the community so they become the owner of the space, and they will take care more of the space. And we involve teachers and the directors of the school, and we help them in more outdoor education so children can learn more playful outside. They like it a lot, and they can exercise while they are learning. They can collaborate when they are learning, and there's happening a lot. And there are also many activities for the neighborhood. So you can use the school grounds multifunctional. And I didn't talk about climate issues, also about a shelter when it's really hot or when it's flooding, the rain will goes into the ground. So we are looking for many solutions in one concept. And here you cannot see it really good. We select schools with some data about those issues and also about poverty and health and the amount of children in neighborhoods. And we select also more like a qualitative way. And we go to the schools, we have some conversations, and they can show us their motivation. And then we select the schools each year for 10 years now. And we keep on doing this for more years. And now we are also developing a national foundation to invest in more and more schools through the whole country. And the starting point is, how can we help the children? How can we find some space for them? Right? How can we find some more space for the families to play and to make some friends and to exercise and to become relaxed? And here you can see you can start playing when you're designing. You can involve the community. We don't have the plastic elephants, but you can see it's pretty easy to make beautiful things in a short time. And when you involve the community, you can also discuss, you can have a dialogue, you can make just one decision, and there's just one budget, and we have some rules, and together we can design it. And you can do this in a couple of weeks, and it's beautiful to get them involved. And they understand also the difficulties. And here you can see how fun it is to work and to design and to create your own space. And when you do this together, there's, what do we say? The children or the older kids out of the quarters, they don't ruinate the playground because of it's theirs or it's of their little brother or sister. And here you can see how outdoor learning can be really fun. And all children are really interested in many things, but you have to reach this to them. And the open access is really beautiful. You can organize in all neighborhoods, and in a range of 500 meters, there will be a school from a house of the families. So the access is really easy. You don't have to go to a forest outside of the city, but you can organize city parks like this. They feel really safe. And we are framing it like the green living room of the neighborhood, where you can feel like home and feel safe. I think I'm out of time, so I can share some a video and also digital study tour to check out relaxed in your own time.
Absolutely. That would be great. We would love it if you would be willing to share those resources out. And we will share out the recording of this session. So if any presenters have extra resources that they would like to share or these videos to watch, we'd really appreciate that and think it continues this dialogue and initiatives to move forward. So thank you so much for sharing, Ian.
Recording in progress.
All right, so we are now going to move on to the TECEC Special Needs Working Group. And so this is Afia, Heidi, and Abisola.
Thank you very much, everyone. My name is Ifia, and I will be sharing my screen before haven't shared. Oh, right here. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. Oops, okay, so I will be talking about play in terms of children with in depth in terms of children with special needs. So my name is Ifia Kaneduche. I am based in Canada, but I come from an early childhood and special education background, with also a child and youth care that focuses on mental health. It's such a privilege to hear from everyone, and I think there's been a lot of contributions in terms of the importance of play. So this is really an addition to, will be an addition to your understanding of play. So I would like to start, and I want to see how do we play, how do you individuals and if you as a collective, how do you demonstrate positive play skills in your early childhood settings? So if you could put that in the chart in the next 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, that would be great. How do you demonstrate positive play skills in your early childhood settings? And we've heard from different individuals and how they demonstrate play. So I'm sure you have a few examples, but I'd like to see it in the chat. How do you demonstrate play in your, sorry, oops, did I do this? Surrealist. Okay, so if you could kindly put that in the chat, that would be great. So there's a quote that I like to say. It's, through play, the child comes to understand the world and the adult comes to understand the child. And this is from Guy Gronlord. And I thought it was such a great example on how we demonstrate play, either in outdoor environments or in indoor environments or in home-based environments. So I'd like to start off to say play is very important in the child development because research shows that play is an activity that involves a child's physical and mental ability. And this quote says, play is so important to optimal child development that it has been recognized by the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights as a right of every child. So every child has a right to play, regardless of their, mobility, regardless of where they're coming from. They have the right to understand how even sun impacts the growth, for example. And during play, the structures and the functions are moving at different levels. So when a child is playing and they're using different techniques, using different materials, the brain is moving in different levels. The amygdala is sending different emotions. The frontal cortex is giving different signals. And play helps children form connections. It helps children make decisions, regulate emotions, and take turns and team with peers. So during play, you would usually observe a child say, here, it's my turn to pour water in the sand. Here, it's my turn to go fetch water. So during play, when they're working together, they're learning to take turns. They're learning to manage their behaviors. They're learning to manage their emotions. During play, a child or a team of children are problem solving, they're sharing ideas, and they're making decisions. And it's such a critical period. It's such a critical area, a critical period of their development where they're learning to problem solve, whether it goes right or it doesn't go to their expectation. They're learning to problem solve. They're using their critical skills. And during play, children are having appropriate fun and freely choosing their materials that are child-led. So during play, they don't have to ask so many questions from an adult to use those materials, but it's there for them to play freely. While we observe them play, it's open-ended, and that's an important thing. Play has to be open-ended. Children discover their interest through play, and play is an integration of mental development with social life. So when children are playing, they're integrating their mental capacity to build their social competency, their social forum, their social environment. And so, we always ask, what kind of play do we engage children in? And from the taxonomy of types of play from Bob Hudgens, we know that there are 16 types of play, and these 16 types of play depend on the stage of development. So when we look at the infants, they are more into the reciprocative play, where they use different materials and try to understand the environment, because we know infants grow as blank slates. And then as they grow, as they get to toddler, they get into exploration play. They're like, how does water pour? What happens when you pour water? That's when it develops. Then they get to preschool, then they begin to put in all these domains start to be creative, and they use blocks to play. Then when they get to preschool, kindergarten, then we see all these different centers. So that's when we see object play, and they get into pretend play. They're using different dramatic materials to play, and they have all these McDonald's store and trying to understand what happens in the real world. And then they begin to understand symbolic play. Then locomotor play, going outside on the monkey bars, and communication play. So if we're able to integrate these types of play in young children, we get to observe more. And play is a biological need. They need to play. So this is a glance of how we can incorporate play in young children. And it doesn't have to come all in once, but as we build relationships with children, we get to see these types of play associate in their everyday life. And so today I just want to touch on rough and tumble play, because rough and tumble play is one type of play that parents will be like, oh, my child is going to fall. If my child falls and hits, like, what happened? So rough and tumble play, what is rough and tumble play, and how can we create safe and positive and spirited environment that is developmentally appropriate rather than a dangerous space for children? While children are making unmistakable sounds and laughing and being energetic with an excited squeal, children are playing with pure joy and unbridled joy. A group of children tugging at a rope and supporting each other for a lively win. So this is really tough and rough and tumble play where children, well, if we take in an African context, using skipping ropes to play, using ropes to support each other, different types of play, running after each other. These are rough and tumble play. While we might be scared of, the injuries, that's why we need to incorporate these 16 types of play gradually for us to be confident when children participate in rough and tumble play. So we look at the African context and we dig into developmental delays, and we know that 53% of children aged 2 to 5, specifically in Tanzania, are experiencing developmental delays in health and learning and psychosocial well-being. And these delays can have long-lasting consequences, affecting children's future opportunities. So we go back to the importance of play, and it's a collaboration of caregivers and children. If we don't have that collaboration, it leads to long-lasting neglect and leads long-lasting mental health difficulties and negative psychosocial impacts. So in the curriculum of special education, we look at play therapy, and play therapy has substantial opportunities for young children with autism, with cerebral palsy, with Down syndrome, with different cognitive development and chronological difficulties in the early growth. And when we observe and play skills, we look at the attention of how the child is playing. We name the feelings. Oh, I see that you put the blocks on the second block. Why did you put that block on the second block? Could we put the third block on the second block? We ask questions that would bring creativity. And children are so creative when we ask questions. And so we describe the prohibited behavior. I see that you put green, yellow, green. Why did you do green, yellow, green? Could we not do green, green, blue, green? Then they would tell you, I think I like those two colors, and they make it taller. It could not be right, but that's how they're thinking. And so we state the desired behavior. We set the limits. We praise or enforce the consequence. So my colleague kind of put the slide up, and I would like to show what play therapy is and why is it important in a child-centered play in special education. Don't know if that's gonna open.
You're more than welcome to share it also afterwards, or put the link
afterwards.
in the chat
Okay,
so we can have it.
Okay, so I will share why play therapy is, but I'm sure you got a glimpse of what play therapy is. So when we say play therapy, how can we foster play therapy? Well, we can plan developmentally appropriate dialogue activities that lead to asking questions and talking and understanding their behaviors. Gentle guidance mixed with the gift of time, engaging with thoughtful questions, listening and watching children play and be resourceful. It doesn't mean having plenty activities or plenty materials, but being there and having a few materials would engage to loose parts, materials that are from the outdoor environment that children can put together is being resourceful. Involve open-ended toys, activities for problem solving, pretend and building, musical activities to build motor and physical skills. And so why is that important? Because 85% of children demonstrated significant improvement in gross motor skills. It has shown that 90% of children exhibited enhanced fine motor skills. And this is from the statistics in the Tanzanian culture. And 95% of children showed advancement in self-care. And in the early learning, as we heard from Elizabeth, 80% of children showed substantial progress in expressive language and 75% of children demonstrated readiness for reading and writing, and 85% of children displayed improved numeracy skills. Not to say we still have some work to do. Psychosocial well-being, 90% of children displayed positive social interactions, 85 showing emotional regulation and empathy, and 75 are showing reduced instances of internalizing behaviors. So they're good results, and they're really good results in play, while there's still a lot of work we have to do. And so I'm leaving the group with some books that engage children in play, and they focus and they come from children with special needs. And they're great resources for classroom facilitating, home facilitating, outdoor facilitating, community facilitating. And even as teachers and educators, we can portray these books that are different presentations and workshops and group sessions, and we can read it to our own teachers to see how they see the children with special needs in our class. If we read it to teachers, oh, I think we have a kid like this, and who can benefit from other kids. So I think it's important. I wouldn't play the video, but I'll send it. And so what's the future for TECE? Our goal is to reach 30,000 parents, caregivers, and preschool teachers, ensuring their support, ensuring they support children, early development that will approximately positive impact 90,000 to 1,300 children from low income families. And these are the partners that we are all engaged with, and we had Inspired present with an amazing result. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. We would love it if you would be willing to share that video and some of your slides so that people can refer back to them afterwards as well. So thank you so much for that. I know that we are nearing the end of our time, but we do have one more presenter. So for the next couple of minutes, we have Leonard Misana from the University of Victoria, and then we'll wrap up the session.
Thank you so much. It was supposed to be 7 minutes, right? I will try to do it very quickly. Basically, in this presentation, my plan was to share about the challenges, and I also planned to do a quick review about the policy changes that have been shaping the Tanzanian pre-primary education since independence up to date. But very briefly, is that after independence, the education policy was called Education for Self-Reliance. And as far as pre-primary education is concerned, this policy was lacking that aspect because it aimed to promote adult literacy for quick economic development of the nation. So it was until 1995 when the country recognized the early childhood education as very important for learning, foundation for future learning. Although it remained on papers, it was not implemented as compulsory. It was until 2014. So today is like 10 years since we are talking about integrating play into classroom learning. So it's, in my opinion, it's still an infant stage. So I will go quickly. I will not talk more about the curriculum. I wanted to talk about the curriculum, but the best important thing is the curriculum that Tanzania is implementing right now recognizes play. So this curriculum has 60 principles, and the principle number 2 states that the use of an appropriate curriculum that emphasizes play-based teaching and learning. So the curriculum is recognizing play as important for child learning and growth. So research also, there are numerous research that is giving the importance. People, folks have talked much about what research say about the importance of play. And this pre-primary curriculum of Tanzania also is emphasizing that since play is the main activity for young children, teachers are encouraged to use play to facilitate teaching and learning. So let's look at the challenges. Actually, this is the core part of my presentation. Several challenges have been reported, and these are the findings from Tanzanian context. I just reviewed the studies conducted in Tanzania. So problems which are still facing teachers include lack of playing material and lack of space. Some daycare centers are located in the urban towns and in urban areas, very confined, and they have no enough space for children to play. Overcrowdedness in the classes because of the fee-free policy. Since 2014, the pre-primary education is free in public schools, and the children are overcrowded, and therefore teachers cannot use play in their teaching process. So quickly, other challenges include parents demanding more academic work, the curriculum requirements, teachers' limited competence, lack of clear guidelines. Teachers don't have a guideline for which they can make references when where, like the previous presenter has shared some books. So I think we need materials. And little consideration of outdoor learning. Most of the learning is indoor. So we can have this interesting quote from the research. These two scholars found that teachers are stressed due to the expectations placed on them by the government, and they are required to ensure that no child is left behind in terms of reading, writing, and counting. As a result, teachers often focus on academic and neglect the play-based. This is just one explanation of those points. So very quickly, as I conclude, my opinion is that because the other challenge I noticed is that teachers don't focus on the local context. But Tanzania is a country with more than 120 ethnic groups, and therefore there are so many local games and the traditional tools that teachers or schools can use when fostering learning through play. These are a few of the games. I thought I would have time to explain them, but I think some folks in Tanzania know about them. Yeah, and I would like to conclude by bringing you to this thinking, because there is also a dilemma. Some scholars are saying this idea of the play is problematic in the African conception because they are saying the African traditional value is not easy for the parent to come together with a child and then they play together. And those who grew up in the village would attest this one. So there is a problem also in the conception, the conceptualization of play is still there. And also another study also reported the resistance with even this among teachers. Some teachers also have the resistance to use play. And so these are the conceptions also among scholars, which we needed to be aware of as we promote this agenda about the play-based learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I apologize that it was a bit rushed, but we hope that you would be willing to share those slides. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for some of our questions, but if you all would like to send some of your slides or information to Joel, we can organize an email to go out to all of you about everything that we've learned today and some additional resources and ways to connect. Additionally, we encourage you all to put your emails or your contact information in the chat if you would like to connect amongst each other for different ideas. we would love for you to continue the dialogue even after today, and we will hopefully have more sessions. To conclude, I am going to turn it over to Anne, an advisory board member of TECEC, to provide some final thoughts.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I'm sure everyone will agree with me that that was a very interesting presentation and a good reminder that play is a child's work. So I just want to put a little more emphasis on what has been spoken on and remind everyone to observe the 11th of June. I think I definitely feel that this is quite an honorable day, that finally we do have a day that we can celebrate play, because play in most areas, most cultures, most schools is never observed, and parents will always feel like it's a waste of time, like Efia has told us. Teachers will never understand how to do it. But I want to encourage everyone to take at least 30 minutes on 11th June, plan. At least you've gotten a presentation and a reminder on what we can do with children. Get to visit a school, get to visit or play with your child. I mean, your neighbor's child, anyone, but spend a few minutes with a child on that day and remind yourself and see that play is really a child's work. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. It was a good reminder, and well done to TECEC. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Welcome, and thank you so much for the good presentation. I
Thank
really
you
learned
so
a lot.
much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.